Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Today we're going to be talking about this little pistol right here. This is about the cheapest 9mm AR pistol that you can buy. I built this guy as you see it, minus the optics, for $355. So today we're going to be doing a box to combat load. Now it should be noted that I have tested this. I did put some rounds through it, just as like you would from the factory, because I had to put this kit together myself. Now I'm no armor or gunsmith or anything like that, but I have put together 6 or 7 of my own ARs, no problem. So everything on here is torqued down to spec. Everything that has threads on it pretty much has blue Loctite on it, so this is a pretty solid build as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, I did test fire it a little bit and it is good to go. So it has been lubricated but not really cleaned, and so we're going to run it almost as if it would come from the factory if somebody else had assembled and test fired it for you. So this build, like I mentioned, Delta Team Tactical, $355. Pretty much everything on here is no name. A lot of the stuff was a little bit interesting. You might notice that it has no dust cover and no forward assist. One, the 9mm bolt that's in here does not have forward assist serration, so the forward assist doesn't really matter. And it did not include the pin to properly install that, so I didn't put it in. Also, the dust cover that it came with was a little bit out of spec and too tight, so it wouldn't properly flip out and open. So instead of having it on there and possibly causing a malfunction, I went ahead and just took it off. We do have an AIM Sports quad rail up front, which I actually really like. The mounting solution is really nice on it. Has a huge pin in there for an anti-rotation pin. We also have a 7.5-inch barrel and a 7-inch quad rail, just a standard A2 flash hider up front, which does a really good job. The lower that's on here, this is a Anderson Manufacturing lower receiver that I picked up for 45 bucks. Everything else that you see on it came from Delta Team Tactical except for the optics. I went with the FocusTripp mic pistol brace instead of the included CAC Blade 2.0. Even though it's not a terrible brace, this is a lot more comfortable and actually a little bit cheaper. So their kit was $355 complete with everything that you see on here. But I decided to go with this brace just because it's a little nicer and I had one laying around. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this build is that this is a standard AR15 lower receiver. It's not a dedicated 9mm lower receiver. So I'm actually using a Magwell insert from Guntec that I picked up for 20 bucks. So for 20 bucks, I was like, oh, it's a great deal. But the issue with it is it's a Colt one, so we're actually using Colt style SMG mags, so they're stick mags, if I can grab one. But the problem that I have with the Guntec Magwell adapter for these guys is it requires a huge amount of force to get a fully loaded mag in there, so that was fully loaded and now it's in place. The other issue that I have with it is 2 of the screws that came with it to set it in place stripped out. One of them broke and one of them stripped out. So not very high quality there, but today we're going to be running it. I haven't had any magazine issues with it in testing, so we're going to see if that continues. The magazines are ASC magazine, 32 round stick mags. So on top here we have some Magpul flip-up sights, which are pretty nice. They're work for this. They're plastic, but I mean the build's not an expensive build. But then on top, our main optic is a EOTech 512 on a LaRue Tactical LT 110 mount. So it's quick detachable, so I can take this off and move to another gun if I need to. This is actually much more expensive than the rest of the build combined. So what we're going to start out with is 5 rounds, just to make sure that it works, so you guys can see that it works, that it functions well. Then we're going to toss it into some mud, and then do about 100 rounds of tests, do another mud test, and another 100 rounds, and kind of see how it goes. Now, for this, I have 6 magazines of 32 rounds, and then I brought some other ammunition, so we might try out some steel case ammunition as well, just so you guys can see that it works with that. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So I got a round in there. Alright, there was 5 rounds. Functioned just fine. There we go. Alrighty, so we still have a round in the chamber just to make sure nothing gets in the chamber, which is something I didn't do my last test and I got stuffing in there. So we're just going to go ahead, drop it in there, set it in there carefully, and then flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. This is all mud and clay and silt, so this is really gross here. So we're just going to go ahead, set it in there, set it on the other side. Alright, now we're going to go ahead, put our optics back on here and go through about 100 rounds. Alrighty, so 5 more rounds just to test that it still works. Blow back, of course. Exactly as I expected, 5 rounds just fine. So now we're going to go ahead, do about 100 rounds of drills, and then do another drop test in the mud, both sides, and then another 100 rounds, call it 3 rounds left. All right, ready?
Cheapers, yeah.
All right. All right.
Yep.
All right, held back on last round still doing good. Sweet. All right, so this is mud test number 2. So we have a round in the chamber magazine in. Safety is on. There's no one else out here, so we are perfectly safe. Go ahead, set it on. I don't know why I took the EOTech off last time. It's definitely not gonna hurt anything having it on. All right, as you can see, there's plenty of mud in there with the bolt carrier group. Everywhere else, kind of just caked on. This stuff is, like I said, it's clay. It's pretty garbage. Alrighty, let's go ahead and fire another 100 rounds or so through it. Alrighty, so I can't see through my optic right now, covered in mud. We're just gonna go ahead, 5 rounds to test it. Plenty of mud everywhere. See how it goes. Almost exactly as you would expect. Blowback systems are ridiculously reliable, even in a stupid, cheap build like this. So we're gonna go ahead, go through another 100 rounds of drills, now that I'm pretty much caked in mud. All right, ready? The safety's getting a little slobbery on there.
And trip.
All right, so something I should mention real fast is that the safety has become incredibly stiff. Still working, but definitely got some gunk in there on the inside of the gun, but everything's still working. So we're still gonna keep rolling with it, but the safety is on its way out. But we're still getting it. Oh, magazine accidentally held back. I might have been pushing it or something. Maybe we got stuck in position with mud. Let's try that one more time. Oh, looks like there's something getting caught in the magazine well. It's causing the magazine to hold open. Alright, let's see. And alright, we might. Alright, maybe we cleared it out there. But definitely something getting in the bolt release here that's causing it to stick in place. Alright, let's do from low ready, try and do 6.
Okay.
It's a different shot. There we go, and last round bolt pulled open. And I have another magazine on me somewhere. But other than a few snafus there where the bolt release was accidentally activating, we are all good. Alright. Alrighty, so in our last magazine, this is magazine number 6. I actually have 5 rounds of Wolf loaded up. So the first 5 rounds are steel-cased Wolf ammunition, which is nowhere near as powerful as the Scorpio 124 grain, which I believe is a NATO spec load. Loaded in there just fine. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and see how this guy does. Now let's load it up. And yeah, this safety is getting terrible to operate. Alright. Oh. Those are super low recoil, so they're definitely a lot lower pressure than the 124 NATO stuff. But hey, they function just fine, so no worries there. Alright, so now we got the rest of this magazine is, and the rest of what we've been shooting is 124 grain Scorpio, which is pretty good stuff. Now, as you noticed there, the magazine is very difficult to get out of that Guntec Magwell adapter. Don't like the adapter. I don't like the quality of the hardware that came with it, but it is working as you see. the Delta Team Tactical. I don't remember exactly what they call this model, but honestly, it's pretty freaking sweet for the reliability that you get and what it'll do for like 300 bucks, 350 bucks. Just the kit, the upper lower bolt carrier group, stock setup, LPK, all that. I got for $290. I had a 5% off coupon and it was like $310, so I got that down to $290. So for 290 bucks plus a $45 lower, plus a $20 Guntec Magwell insert. Now normally you won't be able to find those for 20 bucks. I found mine for 20 bucks, but honestly you're probably gonna have to spend like 40 to 50 bucks at the lowest end for a Magwell adapter. And honestly, I would probably spend a little more than that, because even though I love the Colt magazines and they look sweet, the Guntec Magwell adapter really isn't all that great, even though it did work. There were a few slight issues, like where the bolt was holding back to the rear, and now that's all done through the Magwell adapter, so that's a Guntec issue with theirs. And of course the magazine is empty right now. The bolt release is heavy, but there's nothing in the chamber. And but the safety selector is incredibly stiff, so if you notice in some of the shots, I was actually staging it about halfway in between, kind of like that, so that I could flip it off with my thumb. Because otherwise it's a two-finger job to get it on and off, and that's what she said. But all in all, even though the recoil is a little stout for just 9mm, it is just a very simple blowback design. Something to note that I did like from Guntec is that with this Magwell adapter, I also got a 8.2 ounce buffer from them for free that they included with it. So with this, the heavy spring that's in here and the 8.2 ounce buffer, which is insanely heavy, it's still very, very soft. Now for a lot of the shots after the second dunking, I couldn't see my iron sights, I couldn't see my my red dot, my EOTech through the mud that was in there. But you know, we're shooting close, 10, 15 yards, nothing really farther than that. And so just pointing and shooting at targets should be intuitive enough for most people to be able to hit shots at that range. But the few snafus that we did have were all related to the Magwell adapter, like I said, the bolt holding back when it wasn't supposed to. And there was one time where I inserted the mag, but I didn't quite insert it hard enough, and so it didn't feed properly. So just taking the magazine out, reinserting it, fixed the issues completely. That's more of a user error on my part. Now, 7.5 inch barrel on a 9mm subgun, anything like that, an AR15 9mm pistol, whatever you want to call it. A 7.5 inch barrel for me is pretty much the sweet spot. This is a stupid heavy barrel that they put in here, so this gun may look really small and might fit into some backpacks, but it weighs like 6 pounds without any optics on it. Stupid heavy barrel, big quad rail design, which I actually like. For home defense, for truck guns, it's the easiest way to mount lasers, lights, that sort of thing, and it's just stupid simple to do. So I really like the quad rail design, and it is, like I said, it looks cool. It's only 7.5 inches long, so even though it's a little heavy, it's still super light and very pointable. So like I said, 7.5 inches is super short, super portable, indoors, outside. Like I said, home defense, truck gun makes a great option for that, and it's pretty stupid reliable as long as you're putting good ammunition through it. We even put some Wolf through it while it was super muddy, and it ran just fine. So that's pretty much the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this as much as I did shooting this. It's a lot of fun. 9mm AR-15s are cool guns. They do recoil a little bit, but the ammo is quite a bit cheaper right now and probably easier to find than 5.56 in some places. So you can run steel, aluminum case through it, whatever you want through it. Save some money that way. Still get in good training. Get in actually more recoil management training, because even though it is just 9mm, it recoils more than 5.56. So switching back to your 10.5 or whatever AR-15 that you're using, you're going to notice a lot less recoil. So it's a really good practice gun, really good home defense, really good truck gun, that sort of thing, and for a stupid low amount of money. And now I can't put links to any of this stuff in the description, and I'm not advocating the sale of firearms in this video, but if you hit me up on Instagram, I can help you out with any sort of questions that you have. My Instagram is linked down in the description below, but like I said, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys once again for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace off.
Hey you. Yeah, you. What are you still doing here? The video's over. Wait. Why are you still here? Like, share, and subscribe. Or don't. The choice is yours. But if you do subscribe, thanks. And I like pizza. Peace off.